joining in, guys. We got YouTube over here, Facebook over here, and Instagram over here. I think Instagram's going to beat out. I think that's where most people are going to be. So we will see how that goes. Okay, I need to change my settings. We're going to start in about 3 minutes. And Kevin is here. He's going to be tracking all of your questions and making sure that I get to as much as we can. And let's see if we can adjust this a little bit. Hello from Australia. Hey, Lori on Facebook. Okay. Hey, Kevin. These settings are a little bit weird. Can you come look at how bright it is?
Oh, on YouTube?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
That's all right? It's kind of blurry.
No, I think it's pretty good.
What happened? Okay. Okay. Hey, from Houston. What time is it even? I can't even see. Okay, we got 2 more minutes. We're going to wait for everyone to join in. Can everyone hear me okay on Facebook and Instagram? I have so many microphones right now. This is insane. Okay, I'm just going to make sure with YouTube we are all good. Kevin, it's still looking really blurry though. You can see it yourself? Oh,
okay.
It's really bright. Hey, Toronto, Michigan. Brightness. Is that better? It might just be YouTube. Okay. Okay. And where do I go for comments, Kevin?
The comments
For YouTube.
they're right there.
I can't see it.
Maybe you can see them.
Okay. We have 1 minute and we are going to start this virtual event. I'm so excited that we could do this. How great is it that we can do this in today's day and age? I mean, I'm always so blown away by technology and it's my job. Tuning in all the way from Edmonton. I'm in Calgary, so hey neighbor, Albuquerque. Thank God for Kevin. Kevin, you the man. Kevin is the man. Seriously, I could not do any of this stuff without him. So we have 78 viewers on YouTube. Hey guys, you guys are over here. And then we got 55 over on Facebook and we got 88 on Instagram. So Instagram is crushing it. You guys can like on Instagram. I'm pretty sure you can do the same on Facebook. And I know that you guys can Kevin, can they like stuff as it's going live on YouTube? Yeah, you can. So you guys can share stuff too. You're in Calgary too. Hey, we're going to be chatting a little bit about the book and why I wrote it and all the things. And then I'm going to be answering your questions. So we're going to get started here in just a moment. Cool. Hello from Ontario. Okay, let's get started, guys. It is 7 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Eastern. I screwed up on the time in some of the images, so I'm so happy you all are here. Again, we have YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. If you guys have questions, Kevin will be tracking everything and sending the questions over to me, so no worries. I'll try to catch all of them. Kevin will try to catch all of them, to be honest. So keep them short and sweet because he's going to have to copy and paste them and probably rewrite a lot of them. So definitely keep it short and sweet. Seattle book tour stop. Had a great time. Oh, I'm so glad. Cool. So I wanted to do this event because there were a lot of places that I missed on the book tour and a lot of places, or a lot of people rather, that couldn't join us for the book tour event. And that just didn't sit well with me. So how great is it that we could do a virtual thing like this where I can chat just like I did at the book tour, and you guys can pretend I'm standing at a bookstore and you have your books in hand. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to the book, this is the book that I just finished writing and launching and all the things. It's called The Keto Diet. It's a ton of pages, 448 pages of awesome. Yeah. So we're going to be chatting about why I wrote this book, how it's different from my other books. if you have questions about the book, I'll definitely answer them. And really everything to do with this monstrosity right here. It is 4 pounds, pretty epic. And before we get started on all that, I want to let you guys know that we are planning the second leg of the Keto Diet book tour. We're going to be going to a bunch of different places that we didn't go to before. So if you're in LA or Phoenix or Vegas or where's another, New York, Dallas, and a bunch of places in Canada, we are planning that. So we will, be there very shortly. So definitely check ketodietbook.com/tour. Yeah, Kevin? ketodietbook.com/tour to check that out in the next coming months. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Leanne, and I am a nutrition educator, and I started blogging back in 2010 about vegan living, believe it or not. And it's been kind of a transformation to get me here to where I am right now, and where it all kind of, where I was at really a crossroads was when I hadn't had my period in over 6 years. Like, hey, hi, my name is Leanne, and I hadn't had my period in 6 years. We're going to get personal. And I really hadn't tried. I had tried everything, and I was kind of at a loss, and I was on hormone replacement therapy, and I was gaining all this weight, and I was really frustrated. And then one of my friends shared a picture of what she was eating, and she used the hashtag keto, and I was like, what's a keto? And that kind of took me down the rabbit hole. I purchased Jimmy Moore's book, Keto Clarity. I read that. I figured, oh my gosh, there's something here. I'm going to try this. And that's how I kind of got started with keto. And the reason I started keto was to reset my hormones, but I got kind of lost because I started losing all that hormone weight gain. I lost 20 pounds of hormone weight gain, 12% body fat. It happened really quickly, and I really got lost. And as somebody who had an eating disorder previously, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of disordered eating tendencies and just an unhealthy relationship with food. And this continued for 6 months, to the point where I wasn't sleeping. I had gone 6 days without sleeping. It was just insanity. And my hair was falling out in huge chunks. And if you've been eating keto for a while, this is probably something that you've experienced as well. It's super frustrating. And I was starting to feel so good. Like I had lost the hormone weight gain. My hormones were kind of boosting up, like they were looking better. Things were going in the right direction for sure. I had gone off my ADHD meds. My mood was a lot better. But there were also some side effects that I wasn't so keen on. And those included shaking a lot, having really low energy, to the point where, my hair was falling out. I wasn't sleeping. We chatted about that. And so again, crossroads. And then, I was thinking keto has been so good for X, Y, and Z, and it hasn't been for these reasons, but also eating the way that I was eating before wasn't working for me. So what the heck am I supposed to do? And that's when I developed what is now the Fat Fueled Protocol, which is in my second book on keto called Fat Fueled. My first one was The Keto Beginning, and that was one that I wrote the first couple of months of being on keto as a woman, or just, you read some books and they're like, just do this and everything will be great. And in fact, it's totally not. You're going to deal with issues. And so with the Keto Beginning, and this is on my website at healthfulpursuit.com/shop, I really talk about what to expect in the first 30 days eating this way. And with Fat Fueled, it's more about how to heal your body by eating fat. And that's how I developed that program, when I was in this place of, okay, keto works for me, but it's not. And I know that the vegan thing didn't work for me. I'm not going back there. And so it really came to adjusting the ketogenic diet in a couple of ways to make it work for me. And the first one was carb ups, and we'll talk about that. I'm sure you guys have lots of questions about carb ups. The second one was eating enough. And the third one was eating when I was hungry, or not forcing myself to fast. And after I did that, 9 months later, got my period back. And I've had awesome menstruation for the last it'll be 2 years this September. And I started ovulating a couple of months after that. And I've been ovulating every every cycle like a boss. And every doctor said that I would not do this. Like, this was not a thing that I would do. So that's kind of how I got to keto. And because you guys are joining in, I'm guessing that you know what keto is. So if you don't, we can definitely answer that in the questions. But basically, it's a low carb, high fat eating style where we are shifting over into fat burning mode. And really, my approach, and if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that those first 6 months of keto was pretty hard on me, and I definitely got lost. And I lost sight of what was really important to me. And calories and six-pack abs might be super important to you, and being ripped and shredded and awesome. And I definitely had that life, and that is something that I've achieved. And now it's more so being kind to myself and being mindful of what my body can provide me in this natural state of being kind and lovely to my body. And keto's really allowed me for that. And if you've been eating keto for a while, you know just how freeing it can be when you can go long periods of time without eating and just not being obsessed with food. That's a really, really big thing for me. I used to be so obsessed with food. Constantly, every hour I was thinking about what I was going to eat. And when I go on vacation, I'd be thinking about what I was going to bring with me and pack with me. And now with keto, I don't have to do that because I'm not as hungry. And when I am hungry, it's this subtle hunger, and it's not this crazy, insane hunger. And something that the Keto Beginning, my first book, was really good at is kind of guiding people through the first 30 days of what to expect, and really a beginner's guide, because I was learning and I wanted to teach other people how to learn about keto and how to adjust it for their body. And then Fat Fueled was about that therapeutic approach of getting my period back and how to use a ketogenic diet, not only for weight loss, but also for overall health from a woman's perspective. And with the balanced keto meal plans, so that's a meal plan subscription service that I've been putting together for a couple of years now. It provides you with weekly meal plans and shopping lists that include a couple of carb ups, so you can play around with that strategy. Those were all fine and dandy, but what I felt was really missing, and why I wrote this baby right here, is more of a practical application to the ketogenic diet. So how are you going to eat on a daily basis for the rest of your life eating keto? And it would be absolutely ridiculous for me to sit here and say that all you have to do is eat 20 grams of carbs for the rest of your life and life will be awesome. That's not the way life works. We know this. We have to set ourselves up for success in many different areas. And eating and our nutrition and our health is no different. And so with the keto diet, I wanted to bring my message of more kind keto over to the masses, and also make it available to people that maybe didn't even know that Healthful Pursuit existed, or there was an avenue that they could take with keto that was a little bit different. So where the keto diet is strong is definitely recipes. There are over 125 of them in the book. And where it is very strong is also in showing you how to use those recipes on a daily basis. So in the meal plans that I provided in the book, it shows you how to use the recipes in the book on a daily basis, and also shows you how to put together your life on keto in the kitchen. I focus mainly on kitchen preparation tactics, how to make bone broth, what collagen and gelatin is, and all these words that you hear us keto folks or even paleo people talk about. And I really kept 3 people in mind when I was writing it. The first one was the keto veterans. So people have been doing it for a while and just needed some change in things. The second one was the beginners that just needed some guidance when it came to food. I wouldn't say that the keto diet is a good beginner's book. It's quite advanced and can be quite overwhelming because it's so huge. So I would say if you're new to keto and you've never done it before and you need something, I wouldn't say that the keto diet is the best option for you. That's just my thought. I would say that the keto beginning would be best, and the keto diet is something that you could do like maybe later, just so you're not overwhelmed. Because guys, if you don't have this book yet, I'm just going to show you probably a complicated page. Look at all these guides and all these images, and there's a lot of information, and it can get kind of overwhelming for people that are newer. So, and the third one are people that fell off the wagon. So these are people that need a different way of approaching things and a more balanced way of doing it. So I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about with the book. You guys know that there are a couple problems that I have with the keto diet that I think, or the overall ketogenic diet, that I think that my book does a really good job at helping you with, and that's empowerment and clarifying things and being realistic. So yeah, I think that's about all I wanted to say before we cut into questions. And I can see Kevin's going crazy with the questions. So without further ado, let's just cut over to keto questions. If you have questions about the book, that'd be cool. But if you have questions about overall keto stuff, I would love to answer them for you. And if you're curious and you don't already have my book, this is again what it looks like if you missed it at the beginning. Here's for all the YouTube people, Facebook people, Instagram people. It's definitely the best quality video on that Instagram. This one's kind of bright. But this is what it looks like. You can pick it up at most Costco stores in the US and all the bookstores, basically anywhere, really. I'm hoping that it'll come to Costco Canada pretty soon. You can also order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. If you're curious about more details about the book, you can go to ketodietbook.com. On the replay, I'll include links to all the things that I talk about when we get into the questions, including the ketodietbook.com URL. Yeah, okay, so Kevin's done a lovely job at retyping your questions. So the first one is on YouTube. James asks, is the weight grams more important than the macro ratios? So if you are counting your macros, I would say that the thing that's most important and priority, at least for me when I was counting my macros, James, is looking at the actual macro ratios, especially if you're first getting going. That can be really helpful. Where you want to kind of also be mindful of the grams is if you're super sensitive to carbohydrates. Some people, no matter what their macros look like, if they eat more than 20 grams of carbs, regardless of what their macros look like, they will get out of ketosis or they won't feel well. Their insulin will do some funky things. So I would say macro ratios up front, but if you know that you're sensitive to a certain macronutrient, say it's protein, maybe you're super sensitive to protein and you need to watch that. Or on the opposite end of things, perhaps you need to make sure that you're eating enough protein. And the same thing goes with fat. It's usually like, even if your macros, if you're eating 1,000 calories a day, macros of say 80% fat, 5%, what am I doing in my brain? 80% fat, 5% carbs, and 15% protein. If you're eating 1,000 calories, that might not even be enough fat for you to get into ketosis, because that's going to be less than probably 100 grams if I'm doing the math right. So yes, macro percentages are important, but so are the grams, and so is the intake that you're taking. But that's kind of the priority that I would put those in. Okay, on Instagram, Bringing on the Fat asks, any tips on cutting out dairy? Yeah, I got lots of them. If you already have the book, some of the strategies are in the book. I wish I could remember what page it is, but it's in there. If you just go to the back and you search for dairy in the little index, you'll find it. Otherwise, if you're eating a lot of cheese, there's not a lot that you can replace cheese with. And cheese is one of the last things that I would recommend cutting out if you're wanting to go dairy-free. And one of the reasons you'd want to go dairy-free is because of inflammation. If you're finding that you are testing your, say, cholesterol and it's really high and you're wondering what the heck, I would look, well, first of all, cholesterol is not a big deal. So I would ask your doctor to test your HSCRP, which will give you a good idea of your inflammation. But if your inflammation is high and your cholesterol is high, you could look at cutting out dairy, and that could probably help the situation. So I would do cheese last because there's nothing you can really replace that's going to taste exactly like cheese. When it comes to cream, coconut milk, full fat coconut milk is awesome. When it comes to just milk itself, I really like unsweetened almond milk, unsweetened coconut milk. If you're sensitive to either of those, sunflower seeds, there are a bunch of recipes online. Just go to the Google machine and type in dairy-free milk recipes, and you can get a bunch of them. Macadamia nut milk is so good. So those are some ideas on milk. Nutritional yeast is great as a cheese substitute. It's going to make things taste kind of cheesy, but if you're like me and you love the like melty cheese stringy thing, a nutritional yeast is going to be a joke for you. Like, I mean, I'm not the type of person to lie. It's not going to be the same. Yeah, I mean, it's a very satisfying texture. I replace cheese with avocado as it helps with the satisfying texture. Yeah, exactly, 100%. Hemp milk is also another one because you don't need to soak the seeds. You just make the milk. And then when it comes to the cheese, 100%, that's probably the last thing you'd want to switch out. And then easy things like any of the products that contain dairy. If you are having exogenous ketones, just go for the dairy-free version. Just look at the products that you're eating. Either make a dairy-free version or find a dairy-free version really easy. And then last but not least, try to go without the cheese. And that can be the hardest one. And if you can't, go for the hard cheeses first and then go off the dairy. So I hope that that was helpful bringing on the fat. Okay, YouTube. Miss Jen, hey girl, on keto for 6 weeks, it's experiencing fatigue in the afternoon between 2 and 4. What can I do to change this? Okay, so there are a couple of thoughts I have for you, Jen. I hope that's right, Jen. If you're experiencing fatigue in the afternoon, the first thing I would do is cut out your fatty coffee, because I'm guessing you're having a fatty coffee in the morning. Cut out the fatty coffee and instead either fast through the morning, try that for a couple days if it doesn't feel right and you're still getting tired, then add an actual meal to your morning. See how you go. If that doesn't help, do that for a couple days. If that doesn't help, add a little bit of carbs to your first meal or maybe even your lunch. Because what could be happening is insulin could be getting a little bit low. It could be doing some funky things. It could also be leptin reacting to the fatty coffee you had in the morning. I mean, there's so many different varieties of things that could be happening. Or flip side is that maybe you're having too many carbs to break your fast in the afternoon period, and like at 2 o'clock, because you've been fasting for 18 hours, you have too many carbs in that first meal and you're crashing. So that's why I'm saying either fast in the morning or cut out your fatty coffee and have an actual breakfast, or increase your carb amount throughout the day a little bit, or you might be eating too many carbs at that lunch period. The last and final thing, if you've tried all of those things and it doesn't work, I would recommend, because you've been eating keto for 6 weeks, and I'm assuming that you are a woman, maybe you're in fertility age and you need a little bit more carbs than maybe what your body is supplying you with, you could try a carb up. And we'll chat a little bit about carb ups now. So carb up is basically you're eating low carb, high fat, and then you, at nighttime, last meal of the day at dinner, you're taking out the fat and you're putting in the carbs. Yeah, simple, easy. Take out the fat, put in the carbs. Not put in the carbs, keep the fat. It's totally different. Take out the fat, put in the carbs. And by taking out the fat, like I'm talking like 2 teaspoons of fat, that's totally cool. Like butter up your sweet potato or whatever you want to do. Bye. Somebody just said goodbye, so I want to say goodbye. You could put a little bit of fat on your sweet potato, no big deal. Don't stress about it. But you want to take out the fat, because if you're eating fat and carbs and protein all together, you're actually boosting up your intake quite a bit, and it's not necessary. And then by doing this, you're resetting your leptin the next day. So you're going to find that you can fast a lot longer. You're probably going to sleep awesome that night. If you're training, you're going to boost up your muscle growth quite considerably. Your muscles are pretty starving for glucose when you finish a workout, so that could be really helpful for you as well. Yeah, so those are a couple benefits to carb up. So that's what I would say you could do to kind of monitor your fatigue and kind of annihilate the fatigueness. Okay, Instagram question. Should I start with classic keto before moving on to other profiles? Awesome question. So in the book, now I'm going to have to bring up, because I really want you guys to look at this page. So bear with me because I don't have the page numbers memorized just yet. Okay. Page 52, page 52. I'll make sure that everyone can see it here, here, and here. There's a little survey that you can take to figure out what fat fuel profile would be best for you. And I put that in there because I knew somebody would ask, like, what should I do? And I'll be like, do this little thing. And what it says you should do is what you should do. So if it says that you should be pumped keto, then do the pumped keto thing. And also, okay, what I said wasn't totally fair. If it tells you what to do and you don't like that answer, and you're like, no, I don't think that that's going to work for me, I think you're wrong, then cool. That's awesome. I'm cool with that. So what you're referring to is the 5 different fat fueled profiles that I outlined initially in my book, Fat Fueled, and it goes into more detail in Fat Fueled than in the keto diet, but I wanted to include that in here to make it variety-licious for y'all. So definitely do that, see where you land, and then use that as a template to what you want to do. Okay, we have a Facebook question. Stella asks, have you found research regarding keto and applying a ketogenic diet to help manage neurological conditions? Yes. The best person you could possibly follow is Dr. Terry Walls. She does a lot of research when it comes to neurological conditions. So I would say head on over there, check it out. She does a keto thing that is very similar to kind of my approach of looking at whole foods and being comfortable with whole foods and using those on your ketogenic diet. So I would say head on over there, check it out. She has a lot of resources. And on YouTube, question from Sina. I hope I said your name right. Overeating because of salt hunger stimulation. Is that all they gave us? Okay, Kevin's like, yeah. I'm going to guess that you're saying that you are craving a lot of salt, and I'm just piecing stuff together at this point. If you're craving a lot of salt, a good thing that you might want to look at is your adrenal function. I find that when I crave more salt, and this has been shown for real, that my adrenals are a little bit funky. So if you're craving a lot of salt, then what you can do instead of overeating and feeling uncomfortable is just add salt to your water, to your blended coffee. It will change your life. I am not even kidding you. Salt and coffee. So I would try that and see if that helps. Instagram, committed to keto, asks, thoughts on staying on keto when pregnant? I got a lot of thoughts on this. Okay, so first off, if I don't answer this question totally fully awesome and you want more, you can go to the Google machine and type in Healthful Pursuit Pregnant Keto. Pregnancy. I'm going to write that down. And if you're watching this on the replay, I'll include the links below. So to answer your question, if I were to get pregnant right now eating keto for as long as I have, I would continue to eat keto and see how it went. But if you are pregnant right now and you have never done keto, don't recommend you start it when you're pregnant. I actually did an interview with one of the members of our community about being pregnant on keto and how it went for her. And she has some really good feedback and just experiences. And she found that different trimesters brought different challenges when it came to keto. I believe at first it was that she found it really easy to eat keto. And in the second trimester, it was like impossible and she ate more carbs. So she went more to a daily fat burner, fat fueled profile where she was eating carbs every evening. And now in her third trimester, it's become easier for her to eat that way. So my short answer is, yeah, if you've been eating keto for quite a long time and then you get pregnant, I mean, keto helped me become quite fertile, that if I were to get pregnant, then I would just keep eating keto personally. And then just kind of see how it goes, but also know that you are growing a life form inside of you. And if you're finding like you just need something else and that something else is carbs, I would listen to your body on that and kind of entertain that and know that like even with daily fat burner, fat fueled profile, or even not, maybe you have carbs, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it doesn't mean that you can't get back to it when you feel more comfortable on that. Okay, YouTube. Amber asks, ADHD insights. So I had ADHD. I was diagnosed probably when I was like 13-ish, I want to say, and was put on medication. I was on that medication up until a couple of years ago when I started eating keto. And I know that I'm asked this question quite a lot, especially on the book tour when I started talking about ADHD and keto and my experience. It took me a couple of months of being on keto in order to get off my ADHD meds. I worked with a doctor on that to make sure that I was shifting in the right way and that we were monitoring things and everything was good. Now I don't even know what it would be like to take that medication again. And it really, I mean, I can even tell it in my writing and my work and just how much more lit up I am and with my brain. And I very much react to carbohydrates with my brain and my ADHD. So that's been a really good indication or little gauge for me to see if I'm overdoing it, or maybe if I'm not as keto anymore, if I've been eating different things. That is my gauge. When my brain shuts down and it gets more attention deficit, then I know that I need to kind of look at what I've been eating, see what I've been reacting to. So those are kind of my insights, but I would work with a doctor if you're wanting to go off your medication. Instagram question, Food Frenzied. Does your book touch on keto relating to hormones? No, not really. I would say that if you're looking for keto and hormones and healing, your best bet is going to be my fat-fueled program. So if you just go to Google or even my site, healthfulpursuit.com/shop, Fat Fueled is right there. It's bundled with also the keto beginnings if you want both. Awesome. That's so cool. Otherwise, you can just grab Fat Fueled. So if you're more interested in hormones and therapeutic approach to healing your body with ketosis, Fat Fueled is going to be the better option for you. Okay. Kevin's doing such a great job with the questions, right? So great. Okay. Instagram, Kim D Fit. Gosh, there's no Facebook questions. Guys, Facebook, come on, ask questions. Let's do this. Where was I? Kim D Fit. Is it necessary to test to see if I'm in ketosis? It's so not necessary. It's not necessary. I mean, it's pretty cool when you're geeking out when you're first starting keto and you're like, whoa, look at this number. It's so cool. But something that happened with Kevin, actually, when he started eating keto, he was feeling really great. He was looking really awesome. He was making great choices and really getting in touch with his body. And then he tested his ketones and it was like, meh, meh. And then he got really discouraged. And that's happened to me time and time again. You know, when I feel like I'm on the right track and maybe just I've been more stressed that day or more stuff has been happening, that my ketones are actually lower than what they quote unquote should be, but I'm still in ketosis, but I beat myself up over it. If you have the same relationship with your scale, let's say that you can't have a scale in your house and have a natural relationship with it, or you eat a piece of cake and then run to the scale and see how much weight you gained, you're probably not going to want to get a ketone monitor. But I'll kind of talk about the 3 different ways to test your ketones. The first one is in your breath. The next one is urine. The next one is blood. My favorite one is the blood because it's accurate and awesome. I just got a new breath ketone measurement system that I'm going to be playing around with over the next couple of weeks. So definitely watch Healthful Pursuit for all things ketone measurement if you're curious about that. I know that I get this question a lot, so I'm just going to be putting together a piece on that. And then the third one is urine, and urine will work really great. You just kind of like pee in a little thing and then dip your pee in it, or you dip the stick in the pee and you check, and if it's eggplant purple, yay, you win. Ah, awesome. And so, but the problem with this is that once you become adapted, so you switch over to fat burning mode and you're burning fat as fuel and all is good, chances are those ketones won't dump into your urine, and one day you'll go from purple and then the next day it'll be nothing. And yeah, so that's kind of the testing. It's not necessarily, if you don't want to test, you can go off how you feel based on a couple of signs. I'm probably going to miss some. So if you're curious, you can go to Google again and search signs, fat, adapted, healthful pursuit. And I'm going to write that down too. So if you're watching this on the replay, it'll be below. But for signs that you're fat adapted, 1, you can go long periods of time without eating. 2, you're not really craving carbs much. 3, you're no longer obsessed with food very much. You're just like, yeah, I guess I'm hungry. Cool. 4, when you are hungry or when you need energy, you go toward fat. This was a big thing for me. It's like, I remember the first time I'd gone on a really long hike and I got back and all I was craving was coconut oil on a spoon. Seriously, that's what I wanted. And that was a big transition for me. You can go long periods of time without eating. We already chatted about that. Are there any other ones and signs that you can go for? Your brain is lit up. You're working a lot quicker, less mind fog. All of those things can be a good indication that you're rocking it. Okay. On YouTube, Trina asks, do you have suggestions for supplements for PCOS and trying to conceive? I don't personally have a ton of supplements that you could use on PCOS, but I did do a podcast with a girl. Her name is Chris, and she's a PCOS marvelous woman, amazing person. So if you just go to healthfulpursuit.com and you go to the little search bar on the right-hand side, just type in PCOS, and she lists off all her supplements. I can't 100% remember what she recommended, but I know it's right there on the sheet. So I would go there and check it out. And all the supplements are right there for you. YouTube, Vianney, I hope I said your name right. That's beautiful. Our girls are 11, 9, and 6. Thinking about getting them into keto. Thoughts, recommendations on how to get them on keto? Okay, so two-pronged question. The first is it safe for my children to go on keto? If we had children, I would definitely encourage them to eat a ketogenic diet. I wouldn't even call it a ketogenic diet. I just serve them a ton of fat all of the time. But know that children probably need a little bit more carbs than what you're used to. And it really depends on the child. Like, I think that as a child, I would have been a really good keto child. But, my sister, she loved bread. Like, there's no way that she could have been keto, and she loved carbs and snacks and little things, whereas I didn't like eating as much. So you also have to gauge the child and see what kind of eater they are. But that doesn't mean that you can't encourage them to eat more fat. And for the tips about how to get them on keto, a big thing that my mom was really good with when we were kids, although, the world has changed and the information that she had when she was a parent isn't the stuff that we have now on nutrition. But she taught me the benefits of, making my own lunch. I was making my own lunch like in grade, I don't even know. I think it was before I was even in a grade. It was like ECS or preschool or something. And we would make our lunch and she would explain like the different pieces to the food and why we're eating it and why she gave us margarine instead of butter. That's the information she had at that point, but just educating your kids on why these choices are important and what they can do. And the biggest thing you can do for your child is be a role model, especially the fact that you have 3 girls, having a kind relationship with your body and showing your girls that it's not their body that defines them. That's a really, really big thing. I can't remember her name. I think it's Allison Kimley. Allison Kimley. She did a post on Instagram quite a while ago about her daughter and just that she wanted her daughter to grow up with a mother that was kind to her body and did self-care and loved the body that she was in, and not loved it all the time, but just accepted that it was this vessel for experiencing her life. Really cool stuff. So I would say education is a really big thing. Keeping things available and also respecting that your kids are going to be eating a little bit differently depending on who they are. Facebook question. Okay. Oh, wow. I missed a whole bunch. Okay. Facebook question. Do you recommend grass-fed butter or ghee? Yeah, totally. If you can manage dairy, grass-fed butter and ghee are awesome. Kevin does a lot of grass-fed ghee and he loves it. Our favorite is Fourth and Heart. They're great. Another Facebook question. Is eating flaxseed muffins daily too much? No. If you have a concern with estrogen, I ate a lot of flaxseed the first couple of years of being keto because I needed the estrogen. There's a little bit of conflicting information about estrogen and estrogen and flax seeds and things like that. So if you're concerned about estrogen, I wouldn't eat a ton of flaxseed. But if you're not and your hormones are pretty normal, then I think you should be good to go. And I'm not concerned about it at this point. Okay, another Facebook question. Bethany, net carbs versus total carbs. Does it really matter which you do? If you're eating, okay, so total carbs is the total amount of carbs that you eat in a day. Net carbs are the total carbs, take away the amount of fiber that you ate. Okay, so let's say your total carbs was 50. Okay, so that's all of the carbs you ate in a day was 50. And then say your fiber was 30 grams, then your net carbs is 50, take away 30, which is 20. So then you would count 20 net carbs. Where I see net carbs being super helpful is when you're eating a whole food-based approach to ketosis. If you're following any of my stuff online, it's a whole food-based approach. And why I say that is because it's going to be higher in fiber, which is naturally going to be lower in net carbs. However, if you're going toward foods like those bars that have the fake fibers in them that will actually boost your insulin response and probably lead to issues, I would look at your net carbs as well as your total carbs and kind of go from there and kind of see, because the problem with this is when people are counting net carbs, on a ketogenic diet that is very high in those fibers and products and stuff, they're kind of fudging their carbohydrate amount by boosting up their fake fibers in order to eat more carbs, and it ends up not being so successful for them. So if you're eating a bunch of garbage gunk, then you should be looking at your total carbs as well as your net carbs and kind of keeping those both in mind. But if you're following anything that I'm doing, you can kind of do either, total carbs, net carbs. I respond to either. I think, I'm not going to rant too much, but I think we care too much about the numbers. Just to eat low carb, high fat, every day, every meal, be okay. If you find that you're not okay and things aren't working for you, I would look at your total amount of carbs and be like, oh shoot, I ate 110 carbs today. Probably not great. I'm going to lower my amount of carbs by eating, less fake products that lead to more total carbs, when really it shows that I only ate 20 grams of net carbs, but really I ate 110 because it was a bunch of garbage ingredients. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Okay, YouTube. Amanda writes, how do you feel about exogenous ketones? I've been hearing about them a lot lately. Amanda, I'm so happy you asked. Okay, so if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I'm not down with the exogenous ketones. My main concerns, oh man, so many. So some of my concerns, my biggest concern actually is that people are using these products to think that they're in ketosis, but they're actually not. And then they're abusing food and eating all this stuff that they wouldn't normally eat, because it's then I could just have this product and I'm in ketosis. It drives me nuts because it's creating a disordered relationship with food, and we're not nourishing our bodies this way. And up until the book tour, back in April when we started, I was like, no to exogenous ketones. I do not even care. Do not have them. And then I started meeting with people face to face, and I started connecting with so many of you in person on the tour, and y'all changed my mind. And I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong. Things happen, and I get to connect with people and stuff happens. So where I now see exogenous ketones being helpful is a couple of areas. The first one is if you have experienced keto flu for ever. I met a lady who had been experiencing keto flu for 4 solid weeks straight. And when she took exogenous ketones, the keto flu went away. She got adapted. She took them for a week and life was good. So it can be great for that and getting over keto flu. For low carb people who can't go into keto for various reasons, maybe you have fibromyalgia or thyroid disorder, you just can't, and you just need that boost in order to get over that little hump. Encouraging the body to fast. So I started testing exogenous ketones about a month ago after, during the tour, actually, I got some and I was trying it out, where I found it really helpful as a keto veteran and being keto for this long is that it could extend my fast quite considerably. Downside to that, though, is that I don't respond well to fasting long term. My adrenals, my thyroid, stuff happens. So if you respond great to fasting, then awesome. This can be a great tool for you to extend your fast if that's where you thrive. Getting inspired to try keto. So let's say you're paleo, you're low carb already, and you're like, I want to see what this keto thing is like all about. So I'm going to try that and take some exogenous ketones, and they get inspired of like, whoa, this is what keto feels like. I am on board. But I already talked about my concerns. People use it as a tool for erasing bad food choices. They eat a ton of carbohydrates, which spikes their blood sugar, and they're taking ketones at the same time. So that to me signals an acidic state. So I think that there's a time and a place for exogenous ketones. And I think there's also a type of product you want to look for. And I've looked at a bunch of different exogenous ketones. One that I really love above the rest, and I'll tell you why in a second, is Perfect Keto. And I'll include a link down below if you're watching this on the replay to Perfect Keto. Perfect Keto is not an MLM. So you can go on their website, you can order their product. You don't need to like do anything or buy a whole bunch so you can get extra packets or anything. And it's almost half the cost per serving than things like Keto OS. Big deal. They're also very, very clear on how much BHB is in the product. So it's over 11 grams, I want to say, per serving. Whereas products like Keto OS and other products, they don't say how much is in there. And Perfect Keto doesn't include caffeine. So if you want to learn more about Perfect Keto, I'm actually doing a podcast episode a little bit on exogenous ketones this Sunday. So the Sunday, what's the date on Sunday? I don't even know. This Sunday coming up. And that'll go live then. You could take it a listen, or you could go to healthfulpursuit.com/ketone and check it out and let me know how it goes. So again, it's healthfulpursuit.com/ketone. So I'm always learning. You're always learning. And thanks so much. May 28th. That's when it's going live. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so I'm always learning. You're always learning. And you're always helping me learn. So thank you so much for opening my eyes on exogenous ketones. I think there is a time and a place. Just don't abuse it. And check yourself before you wreck yourself. Do you still burn fat if you aren't adapted? The Paleo Girl on Instagram. Do you still burn fat if you're not adapted? Well, yeah, because you see people burning fat all the time. Like I think of all those television shows where people are like losing weight and like not eating enough and all those things. 100% you're going to lose fat. That's a very real thing. But in a ketogenic diet, you are fat adapted. So you are constantly burning fat. That's really the difference. And in order to lose weight or lose fat, not in a ketogenic state, there are a couple of things that need to be balanced in order to do that. The one thing is insulin. When insulin is out partying in your bloodstream, you cannot burn fat as energy. That's not going to happen. And when you eat too many carbohydrates, your body builds up a thing called glycerol, which ports fat into cells. So in order to lose fat, you need to lower the amount of glycerol by generally lowering your carbohydrates. And the reason this works when you are dieting not on ketogenic diet is that you're usually eating less, which usually results in lowered carbohydrates, which usually results in lowered insulin because, I mean, there's not a lot of people that lose fat by eating candy every day because their insulin is high, they're eating a ton of carbs, so that's not a thing. So I hope that that was helpful there for you. Am I missing any? There's so many questions. Instagram, Amy asks, thoughts on keto and cancer? Yeah, a couple of them. I think it can be super helpful. I haven't personally experienced it. I haven't read a ton on it, but what I have read about it, super awesome and very informative. Some people you may want to check out is Tom Seyfried. He's amazing with keto and cancer. The Keto Summit is coming back up again-ish, so definitely watch for that. coming soon, and that'll be a lot to do with cancer. And you guys will get an email from me in about less than a month about keto and cancer and more of these scientific pieces to keto. So definitely stay tuned for that, because I'll be sharing that information with you. But 100%, if you can find a doctor that supports a ketogenic diet and you are experiencing cancer and you want to use keto as a tool, that would be fabulous if you could find a doctor. And I know that there are more and more and more that are getting on board with keto. I would personally, if I were to get cancer right now, I would go on a classic keto approach. I would stop caring so much about my hormones. I would do long-term fasts. And that's what I would do. Okay. YouTube, Sky Lopez writes, tips on breaking plateaus. Yeah, I got a lot of, in fact, I have a ton of videos on breaking through weight plateaus, Sky. So if you are on YouTube right now, you can just go Healthful Pursuit weight plateau and find a couple of them, but I'll just give you some thoughts. A weight plateau doesn't mean that you are stalling because you're eating too much. A weight plateau could mean that you're stalling because you're not eating enough. It could be that you're really, really stressed. It could be that you're not eating the right foods. Maybe you're sensitive to certain things like, I don't know, nuts or eggs or avocado, and you're eating a lot of dairy, and you're eating a lot of these things on keto, and then your result rather is a plateau. Or your body needs a little bit of an adjustment. So one thing I would try, if you've looked at those couple of things that I just mentioned and nothing's working, and you're trying to, reduce stress and meditate, go for walks, and you've removed all common allergens, and it's still not working, I would do a carb up and see what happens. Take out the fat, put in the carbs of your last meal, have like a sweet potato or a plantain or a potato or even some corn if you react well to corn. And then the next day, what's going to happen is you're going to gain some water weight, but in 2 to 4 days after that carb up, you're going to drop water weight, and you're probably going to drop more weight. So I would try that and see how it goes. YouTube, Joanna writes, what do you say to people who criticize your way of eating? At first, I used to try to defend myself, and then it's just all of this energy is going towards something that literally doesn't matter. So bye. Yeah, that's what I do to people that criticize my way of eating. Nobody knows your body as well as you do. And even if you feel like you don't totally know your body because you think it's you against your body, and you still haven't gotten to that point where you're like, hey friend, we're in this together. That's okay. You're making steps toward that. Chances are, if you're here, you're wanting to improve your health. And that usually the easiest way to improve your health is to get in touch with your body. So if you feel like keto resonates with your body and you're feeling great, when people are like, you shouldn't do that or whatever, be like, great, thanks, bye. That's how I deal with that. Facebook, Arlene asks, I have IBS. Is that good for that? Is keto good for that? Yeah, that's a Kevin problem. Is keto good for that? Yeah, I was diagnosed with IBS when Kevin and I met. So that was 2008 or something. Yeah, so 2008, I was diagnosed with IBS, and I don't really have IBS symptoms anymore because, yeah, it just is kind of a blanket statement that doctors give you when they don't know what's going on with your gut, probably because you're eating a lot of dairy, grains, inflammatory things. So once you remove those things, your IBS should be pretty good to go. Okay, Instagram, Just Oaks. What?
There's a lot of them. Ask me for this.
Okay, there's a lot of people asking for this specific question. Could you do a video or podcast for men about balancing male hormones? Hey, I have an idea. Kevin should do a podcast or video about balancing male hormones. He's actually really getting into the health stuff, and he's getting a lot of tests done and stuff. So I'm going to write that down. Would you guys like if Kevin and I did a video together on his hormones? Give all the taps and the hearts if you think that that's a good idea. Oh, there's one on Instagram. Come on. Oh, a couple on Facebook. People don't love you on Instagram. They don't want to see you on video. Okay, cool. So hormone, men, keto video with Kevin. Is that okay for you? Yeah, you're good? Okay, cool. We'll do it. Yeah, look at all the hearts now. Okay, we'll do it. We'll go through Kevin's blood work and we'll talk about his hormones and how we're going to balance them. He looks really happy about this, guys. I can't wait to share it with you. Okay. Okay, YouTube. Pip. Hey, Pip. Is a piece of 90% chocolate okay after dinner? Yeah. Oh, I wish I had my favorite chocolate with me. Oh, I don't. Lakanto monk fruit sweetened chocolate is literally the best thing ever. So you're definitely going to want to check that out and like have half a bar. Kevin's favorite way of enjoying the Lakanto chocolate is with Fourth and Heart ghee. I'm going to write this down too. Fourth and Heart ghee. And my favorite way, because I'm sensitive to dairy, is to put coconut butter on it. So good. So yeah, 100% you should do that. And it's also really good for lots of things. Like chocolate is really good for you if it's not inflammatory for you. I find that if I eat too much chocolate, it's quite inflammatory. So just watch for that. Instagram, Risa Ruth. I don't have a gallbladder. Should I use ox bile or digestive enzymes when having a rocket fuel latte? Yeah, if you don't have a gallbladder or you have a dysfunctional gallbladder, it's like a little bit slow and kind of taking its time. You might find that when you eat too much fat, you get nauseous, so you get this like weird feeling in your stomach, or you get a pain in like your back right here area. It can also be like right here can be gallbladder pain. Oh, you guys can't see. It's like right here-ish, like under your rib. So if you get those pains, or you're finding that when you have a rocket fuel latte or these higher fat things that you're not feeling optimal, then 100% ox bile supplement. They're actually pretty inexpensive. Now Foods actually makes a really great ox bile supplement that's a couple of dollars. Also, it's super expensive in my local stores. Lakanto tastes a little bit weird. So Amy, in regards to the chocolate, what you could do instead is like make your own chocolate, just coconut oil and cacao powder, and just add your own sweetness or whatever you want to do. But yeah, ox bile supplements, super inexpensive. Try it again and see how you do with it. I would take the ox bile maybe a couple of minutes before you have the fat, and you should be okay. And this is for people that don't have a gallbladder. Oh my gosh, we're going to run out of time. Instagram stories only lets us do an hour solid. Okay, good to know. So I guess we're going to wrap up there, because we were planning on doing an hour anyways, and I want to make sure that all of you guys get to say goodbye and all the things. So I guess I'll just reiterate again. This is my book. If you're curious about it, go to ketodietbook.com or go to your favorite bookstore or order on Amazon. And if you're not a beginner or you need more therapeutic approach, and or rather if you are a beginner or you want a more therapeutic approach to keto, definitely go to healthfulpursuit.com/shop to check out more of my keto products. There's lots there. You'll have support for days and days and months and months and months, and we're working on something new and exciting coming out in a while. So definitely stay tuned for that. And I just want to take a moment to thank you all. If you already bought my book, or even if you didn't and you've just been following and supporting Healthful Pursuit and really what we're trying to get after here, and just being awesome. Thank you so much for being so fabulous. I couldn't be doing this without you. I learn so much from you guys. I have such a blast. I feel so blessed to be able to be doing this for a living. I wish I could hug you all. And definitely check out ketodietbook.com/tour very soon for more event dates, because I would actually love to give you a hug. And if that's awkward, I'm really sorry. I just really love hugs, and it's actually really good for your oxytocin. Yeah. Okay. So thanks so much for joining in, everyone, and we will see you around. Okay. Bye. Bye. All the places. Bye.